Welcome back. Got time for a couple more questions. We got Chuck on Twitter who says, Ron, what about Terrell Edmonds tonight? Didn't hear his name called once. I think we did hear him called maybe assisting on the tackle, but not a lot of mention.
I don't know how much he played. It was hard to, keep track of it from television. They like him. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. I don't know if he's going to start, but we're going to see more as the preseason goes on, how they're going to use all these defensive backs, safeties, who's going to play linebacker in certain situations. So I think they're very high on him. Obviously, they picked him first, but had a good camp from everything I understand. So I'm not making any judgments tonight. I don't think he was out there all that much. I'm with you. I didn't notice him a whole lot.
And they used a really wide configuration. They rotated a lot of guys in there in the secondary. We saw a lot of different corners, a lot of different safeties. So I don't know if it was really more or less him not being used much as it was just getting everybody in there, maybe to get to everybody.
And Sensabaugh had the interception. Sutton had the interception. I don't know if there's going to be a spot for Sensabaugh. I kind of doubt it.
I would think the same thing.
Sutton will make the team, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think Sensabaugh will. And he had a nice moment, though, with that interception.
I would agree with that. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Waylon in Washington. Waylon, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, guys. I really appreciate your knowledge and insight. And that is, what do you think about number 20, that Cam Sutton? That's all I got. I mean,
liked him on that interception. Liked him on that interception a lot. Although those were both pretty easy interceptions, I thought they were bad throws.
Yeah, the Sensabaugh, he pretty much
by the quarterback. But you get turnover. They've been preaching it. If you have a chance to make a play, make a play. We've seen them in the past drop those balls, and you lose the turnover. Now, unfortunately, Dobbs gave it right back after the Sutton interception. But 2 interceptions, a nice start. I thought the Adeni sack was big, a forced fumble. Those are nice plays.
Would like to see Cam Sutton continue to make that progression, not necessarily production-wise Mike Hilton-esque, but in terms of if he gets the opportunity, makes a play here and there. That wouldn't bother me too much.
Made one
if you see more of that. He got the opportunity, made a play.
Right.
So guys who get the opportunity to make plays, they're probably going to get more opportunities pretty much by default. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Marilyn in Munhall. Marilyn, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling in.
I wanted to know who you two gentlemen thought most pleasantly surprised you on offense and defense tonight for the Steelers.
Most pleasant surprises.
I think Patterson stood out for me with that catch.
I would agree with that.
Great throw by Dobbs. It was a great catch. It was Antonio Brown. So was the celebration. He did the backflip.
I think he topped Juju's celebration.
A standing backflip.
That's impressive.
You make catches like that, I guess you can celebrate any way you want.
I would agree with that. I'll go with Patterson on offense. I'll go Ola Adeni on defense. But pleasantly surprised by both guys.
Yep, I think it's fair.
I would totally agree with that. Got a question from Robert on Twitter, and this is not really game related, but he asked, do you think Le'Veon Bell will play by the last preseason game?
No.
I would agree with that.
Even if he comes into camp, I don't think he's going to play in any exhibition game. Now, I mean, I guess there's a chance he could come in earlier than the last week and just get in sync with the offense a little bit. I don't see him playing in an exhibition game, nor does he have to, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know that I would play Antonio in an exhibition game. Ben, maybe a series or
maybe
two.
Maybe that third game?
Maybe a series or two.
Yeah.
These guys don't need it, and the last thing you want to do is get them hurt in that. So, but as far as Le'Veon playing in the last exhibition game, I don't see it.
Yeah, usually the third game is the one you see the most of the main guys because they call that kind of the dress rehearsal.
Usually play the first half.
Usually play the first half.
And then they don't play at all in the fourth one. So.
And I don't expect him back by then. And I would have to agree with you. If they get him in, they're probably more worried about just him being in game shape and being ready to go to Cleveland when the time comes.
Right, and I think he will be now. Maybe what he went through last year, he'll be better because of it. Maybe they'll be better too.
It's a good way to look at it. And with that said, they head to Green Bay next week for their second preseason game, and then they come back for home games against Tennessee and against Carolina. So still quite a few things to be settled out here in the next couple weeks. I guess the last thing I'll ask you here before we head out, looking down the road, as far as maybe players, because I know we talk about the guys who probably have cemented jobs, and you talked about Josh Dobbs possibly being the odd man out. Who's a guy that maybe can earn himself a job that we haven't really talked about tonight?
I think we have talked about everybody. I mean, I think Patterson has put himself in the mix. I don't know that Adeni's going to make the team, but he could be a practice squad guy, right? I mean, a lot of these guys, if they don't make the 53, can make the practice squad. I think we talked about everybody. Now, I didn't get a chance to evaluate the film yet. I'll be eager to hear what they say about Mike Munchak's offensive linemen. Maybe one or two of those guys excelled.
Well, in the meantime, that is our time for the show. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for your calls. Thanks for your tweets. As I say always, it is you guys that make this show great. Thanks, Ron, for joining us in studio. This is the end of our time. Coming up here on KDKA-TV News, we got highlights and post-game reaction as well. For Ron Cook, I'm Josh Taylor. See you later.